What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Everyone's having a great day today. So today's video is going to be kind of a cool little concept for sport track people like myself, and that is the cool facts about the sport track you may not have actually known. So first off is one that pretty much is a pretty well-known thing for the most part, but I'm pretty sure there's probably plenty of sport track people that did not know this. And that its engine, the 4-liter in particular, if we're talking about Gen 1s, which is primarily what the channel revolves around, was actually designed in Germany. And the engine is named the Cologne V6, which is like how you have the Coyote V8 and the Voodoo V8. Ford names this engine the Cologne, the 4.0. And the reason for that is because of its place of origin. The Cologne family of V6s have all been manufactured in Germany, whether they're the pushrod engines or the single overhead cam engine that is found in the heart of the V6 powered sport tracks, whether it be all Gen 1s or the V6 Gen 2s. So it's a very cool feature to know, and that is probably why it's so complicated. I love German cars like crazy. I'm pretty sure my next car will be a GTI, but yeah, they're very complicated engines. But that was a cool fact that I thought was something I bring up to begin the video, is that the 4.0 itself was designed in Germany and was built in Germany, hence the Cologne name. A lot of Ford's V6s in this era, a lot of Ford's engines in general in this era were named after the cities that they were made in. There was also the Essex V6, which I believe was the 3.8 liter that was found in the Mustang at the time, which was built in Essex, or not Germany, Britain, to my understanding, as well as the 3.0, which I can't remember the name of the 3.0, but I'm pretty sure it was also made, and the name is also from its place of origin. I'll have to look it up, and if I can remember to look it up, I'll put it in the video. But that's kind of the first one I wanted to bring up, was that the Cologne V6 was named after its place of origin, which was Cologne, Germany. So number 2 is that the sport track had a wait list of 9 months long in 2001 when they were first releasing these trucks. It seems crazy to believe now that a truck that has a bed size of 4.5 feet would command any sort of attention in the modern day truck world. Lots of people shy away from SUTs that are used because of this fact that most of them have really small beds. But believe it or not, in the early 2000s, the market was massive for them. Lots of Ford fans wanted a crew cab mid-sized truck, and the only offering Ford had was the sport track. People like me, for example, who really just have a truck bed for practicality uses for small things, don't really plan on using it on a farm or anything like that, it makes sense. And so the SUT market was prime, and Ford had a wait list of about 9 months to get a hold of a first-gen sport track in 2001. And it's crazy to think that they really didn't last that long in the grand scheme of cars. The market kind of seemed to be one of those kind of fad markets you get, like everyone thought crossovers would be when they first started coming out, and then they boomed. SUTs kind of did the opposite. As midsize started becoming bigger and taking over the spot that SUTs once took over, it killed off SUTs in the process. I believe the Sport Track and Avalanche both went on for quite a while, and they retooled the Ridgeline to make it more of a full-on midsize than they did before, when it was just a SUT type truck. The SUT genre as a whole was a very niche market, and it was pretty big in the early to mid 2000s. But once the 20 teens really hit, they died off, and that's why no one makes SUTs anymore, is because their purpose was kind of overwritten by the modern mid-sizes like the new Ranger. That's not only available, but is mostly available only in crew cab, as well as the Colorado, which is also available in a crew cab. Is always available in crew cab in the Colorado, but I believe Dodge is getting ready to release a new Dakota in the next couple of years, so that will obviously be a competitor to that, as well as the new Ridgeline and the Tacoma all being crew cab available trucks. The Ridgeline in particular only coming in crew cab. So it kind of killed off what was left of the SUTs, because obviously the Ranger has a more usable bed, it's the same size, and gets better fuel economy, at least because, you know, it's really hard to compare a truck from 2001 to a truck from 2018 when they first launched here. So I guess it's kind of hard to compare the two, but in a sense, that is why they aren't made anymore. It's just the new midsize market took over what was left of the SUTs, because the new midsizes were bigger, about the same size a lot of the SUTs were in terms of like wheelbase and stuff, had longer beds, and were just more practical for modern day truck stuff, which is why you don't see SUTs anymore. So our next one is the fact that they share chassis. A lot of people may not know this, but the Gen 1 Sport Track in particular shares most of its underpinnings with the 95 to 01 Explorer and the pretty much, I think, 97 and onward Ford Ranger. And so the chassis itself is old, and that's why the Gen 1 was only produced for like 5 years. Really, they were both only produced for about 5 years. Well, actually, no, because there was no 2006 model year. Fun fact, there was no 2006 model year. pretty much the Gen 1 rode on this really old chassis for Ford. It was the last vehicle, I believe, to use that chassis. It's why parts from similar year Explorer, full-on SUVs aren't interchangeable. Stuff like the 2002 3-valve or 2-valve, whatever it was, Explorer are not interchangeable with stuff from the Sport Trac because they're two completely different vehicles. However, the engines from the 95 to 1 Explorer, the 5.0, particularly the old 5.0, is a very popular swap because of the fact the chassis are identical. And lots of parts from those trucks simply just swap over. My center console, for example, is out of a 2001 Explorer. So lots of parts interchange, and it's actually kind of a really nice thing. A lot of people hate parts bidding, but in my case, since I had an XLS truck, it worked out fine. So next one is the Adrenaline. The Adrenaline naming is kind of the equivalent of the Mustang GT, at least that was the original intentions for Ford. It was meant to be originally, it was originally on the 0105 a appearance package, which was kind of just taking the XLT to the max. It was the equivalent of the Eddie Bauer or the King Ranch in the F-150s and the Explorers and all that kind of stuff. And the Sport Trac didn't have an Eddie Bauer version. They just had the Adrenaline, which pretty much did all the same stuff that an Eddie Bauer or a King Ranch would do for that time period. A lot more luxurious trimmings, the sunroof, all that good stuff. And they only made them from around 2003 to 2005. That's why you don't see an 01 or 02 Adrenaline anywhere. But they're really nicely equipped trucks. And so we're going to talk about here in a second was the second gen Adrenaline. The second gen Adrenaline, as a lot of people know in the Sport Trac community, is a pretty sought after vehicle when it comes to the Sport Trac world. They're available in both 4.0 and 4.6 and were 2-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Not 4-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive. And it was a very sought after vehicle, especially a 2010 Blue Flame 3-valve all-wheel drive truck. It's like the most sought after spec. There wasn't very many of them in that year because they had the 6R60, and so a 6-speed auto all-wheel drive with a V8 was pretty solid setup. But the original concept for the Adrenaline was to be a miniature Lightning, and that was kind of a cool concept to me, that Ford was really kind of pushing the miniature Lightning thing on the Sport Trac from its origins. Not on the Ranger, but on the Sport Trac out of all trucks. And the original plan was to use the 5.4 from the Lightning and stuff it into the Sport Trac's body. The concept is pretty popular among us enthusiasts of the Sport Trac, and it is proven to be kind of the setup that everyone tries to emulate whenever they have a second gen Adrenaline, is to supercharge the 4.6 3-valve engine to make it as close as possible to the original concept of what the Adrenaline was supposed to be. Ford wound up ditching that altogether and turning it into just another appearance package, with the only main performance difference being the addition of all-wheel drive instead of four-wheel drive. So instead of having a like a manual transfer case kind of deal, it is a completely all-wheel drive system, much like you would find on an Evo or STI. And a lot of people thought that was cool. I, for one, think it's great. And if I ever got another Sport Trac after my 03 finally leaves me, it will probably be a 4.6 all-wheel drive Adrenaline. That's the only way I'm really getting back into another one. But yeah, so those are some cool facts about the Sport Trac that I thought I might talk about. I know there wasn't very many, but this video was rather improvised, so I apologize for that. But hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe for more content coming soon on the channel with my truck, my 2003 full bolt-on truck. Hopefully there'll be some new stuff up this week on that thing, because a lot to talk about with it. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. I shall see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.